Topic 1.1.2 Influences on your healthy active lifestyle. In this topic, we'll be looking at the different influences on why we take part in sport and physical activity. So there's a whole host of different influences that can affect our participation in different sports, and these can be grouped into the following categories: people, image, cultural factors, resources, health and well-being, and finally, socio-economic. So if we take a look at people first, most people's choice of activity tends to be influenced by others. This can be family, peers, or even role models. So if we think about family then, this could be a parent who goes to take part in sport at weekend, and afterwards go and watch them take part in that sport and see the enjoyment they get out of it. We're then inspired to take up that sport ourselves. Our peers, these are people of a similar age to ourselves. It could be people we work with or people we go to school with, and typically they're our friends. So it could be that your friend has taken part in a new sport and they come to school the next day and tell you all about it, and you think, actually, yeah, I like the sound of that, I fancy trying that myself. So as a result, you then go away and take part in that sport yourself. And finally, role models. These are people we look up to. Typically, a lot of people have role models from sport who are at the top of the game, so professional athletes, but they could also be teachers or people who live locally to yourself who basically you look up to and try and kind of replicate the success or their performance in that particular sport. Now with role models, they tend to be positive because we look at them at the top of the game and they're doing something that's successful, but it can also be noted that role models can have a negative influence on people, particularly if you see some of the negative headlines. People like Luis Suarez, who's known for his diving, amongst other things on the football pitch, and young impressionable kids might try and replicate some of the stuff that they see him doing. Second category is image. Okay, this can be a result of media coverage, such as the increase in popularity of tennis when Wimbledon is on. So if you think about Wimbledon, 2 weeks a year, it's all over the BBC, people watch it, they're cheering on Andy Murray, and they get inspired to pick up the racket and have a go themselves because of the feel-good factor of watching Wimbledon and being a part of it all. Then the rest of the year, when there's not quite as much tennis coverage on TV, you then see the numbers of people taking part then start to fall. The fashion associated with certain sports, such as skiing, surfing, snowboarding, all these sports have got a kind of cool image due to the equipment or the clothes that they're wearing. That can also inspire people to take part. So if you go to some of the ski shops and see things like the sunglasses, the jackets they wear, the salopettes, people are inspired to take part in that sport so they can look good. Third category is cultural factors, and these involve factors such as disability, age, gender and race. So if you think about disability, if you've got physical disability, that's going to affect the sports that you can take part in, and so you're only about to take part in a sport that has got the equipment or the facilities or the rules that have been adapted to suit your physical needs. With age, there are sports that have got certain age restrictions in place, so if you don't fall within that particular age range, you're not going to be able to take part, such as the London Marathon, which you have to be over 18 to take part in that. In terms of gender, there are different stereotypes with certain sports. So typically you associate dance, netball with being like a girls' sport, and boys are more kind of driven towards football and rugby. So that might be something that influences your participation as well. And finally, race. So if you think about your ethnic background and how that might influence you, if you look at your males from India and Pakistan, typically they like to get involved with sports such as hockey and cricket, and you wouldn't necessarily expect to see them getting involved in sports like rugby or football in quite as high numbers. Next category is resources. A lot of sports require the use of suitable facilities, and these need to be available in order for the people to take part in those particular sports. So first of all, need to be in the right location. So with us living where we are, if we wanted to take part in, say, something like surfing, we're going to be kind of restricted because we live inland and we don't live near the coast. They need to be accessible, so we're lucky that in the northwest we've got the chill factor here, which allows us to go skiing. We don't have to worry about going to the Alps and getting a plane over there to practice skiing. But how easy is it for you to actually get to the chill factory? For someone of your age who can't drive, you're then relying on buses and trains in order to get there. And finally, they need to be open at the right time. So most people don't have an education or working typically between the hours of 9 and 5. If those facilities are only open between 9 and 5, then people aren't going to be able to access them, and so won't be able to take part in that particular sport. So they need to make sure that these facilities perhaps are open in the evening and the weekend as well, so people can go along and give the sport a go. The next category is health and well-being, and this is basically talking about people who have an illness or certain health problems and how these can actually affect the participation in certain sports. So if you think about somebody who's got asthma, they're going to steer away from sports such as long distance running that could actually trigger their particular health problem. The last category then is socio-economic, and this first of all looks at the cost that is involved with taking part in certain sports. So if you think about golf, we've already mentioned skiing, there's a lot of finance involved in terms of buying those particular the equipment for those particular sports, but also for actually taking part in those sports. So going to a golf course, it could be 15, 20 quid to play 18 rounds of golf. If you're going skiing, you want to do it properly and find the snow, then you're going to have to get a plane, stay in a hotel for 7 days while you go out on the slopes and get a lift pass, and it all incurs a great deal of money. A person's status can also affect their participation. So by status we mean the current situation they find themselves in. Are they in education? Are they unemployed at the moment? Are they in work? Or their position in society. So if you're unemployed, or like yourself, you're at school, you're not going to have the money available to take part in the more expensive sports. And in terms of their position in society, if you think about more kind of middle class, upper class people, you'd expect to see them involved with sports such as tennis, horse riding, polo, that perhaps you wouldn't see working class people involved with. The thing to remember then about the influences in taking part in sport, they can be positive and negative. So that means they can either encourage people to take part or actually discourage people. So just by saying something's an influence, it doesn't necessarily mean it's a positive influence. It's going to make somebody actually take part. So what do I need you to do now then? You need to re-watch this video as many times as you need to so that you fully understand the whole of this topic. And then following this, fill in all the boxes on your Flip Learning map. It's important you do this because next week you will then be applying all the knowledge you have gained from this particular video.